From Recorded Future News and PRX, this is Click Here. When Artemis II splashed down after a trip around the moon, it passed through something we didn't used to have to think about. Not emptiness, but traffic. Because space has changed. The last time we set foot on the moon, the orbit was quiet. And now, satellites carrying our calls, signals guiding our planes, systems tracking everything. So space is crowded, noisy, and starting to look and sound a lot like Earth. So today, we look at what happens when what we've put up there comes back. And we're returning to a story we love that starts not in Houston, not at Cape Canaveral, but on a cattle farm in rural Australia, where we meet a man named Jordan Hobbs. I thought you were going to have a little koala bear. What's that other great don't you have wombats there in Australia?
We got wombats, we got kangaroos,
Yeah.
we got a bit of everything over here, yeah.
A few years ago, he spotted something strange on one of his fields, so he climbed down from his tractor to take a closer look.
Got out and saw that it had like a radiator, like an aluminium fluting through it, and a special woven sort of material on the outside, each side, and distinctive, I guess you would say, almost like a switchboard wiring.
He'd never seen anything like it.
Many people made the made the comment that it's like a hoverboard, you know, you've been gifted with a hoverboard from space.
From Recorded Future News and PRX, this is Click Here, a podcast about the people making and breaking our digital world. I'm Dina Temple-Rest. There's all kinds of stuff floating around in low Earth orbit, and while it's not supposed to land, what if it did, in your own backyard? That's when we come back. Stay with us. Jordan Hobbs lives in the middle of nowhere, like actual nowhere, in the Australian outback.
New South Wales, Australia, little town, Tumbarumba in the snowy mountains, and have a cattle farm here. I guess it's Australia's version of Salt Lake City or something. We're only about half an hour's drive from the highest elevated town in Australia, Cabramatta.
Jordan has that sun-weathered face you get from decades outside. He looks like the kind of guy you'd call if you ran out of gas on a dusty road. Do you come from a long line of farmers?
Originally come from rodeo. Dad was a cowboy over here. So we grew up in rodeo, I guess, you know, riding horses at a young age.
There's absolutely no control over the backing horse whatsoever.
That's what's got me interested in farming. Dad used to work on the big cattle stations in northern Australia.
So you were always going to be a cattle rancher?
I was in my blood for sure.
He talks about it like it's the most obvious thing in the world. And his days reflect that. Up before dawn, checking the herd, mending whatever broke overnight. Kind of rhythm you almost feel in your bones. But on this particular morning, he was rushing. He and his wife were headed to a weekend horse competition, 2 nights away. And they had 100 little chores to do before they could leave.
So I was rolling out some hay to the cattle, and I'd rolled out 2 or 3 bales. On the last bale, I was rolling it towards, I guess you'd say, a road over here. And at the end of it, I saw this, what I called was a bit of rubbish.
It wasn't rubbish, but it would take Jordan a moment to realize that. And longer still to grasp just how far it had traveled to land on his farm.
I thought it may have been something that's blown in from the road, and then I got out of the tractor and had a look at it and thought it was unusual. I had like the patterns on it and the material.
So he calls over his wife, and they both bend down to take a closer look. And they agree that this thing seems, well, kind of otherworldly. It's charred, metallic, with little bits of wiring and panels.
My wife made the comment that it could be space junk as a bit of a giggle because recently a couple of pieces had been found about 100 miles away at Dalgety.
Space junk. The stuff we leave behind in orbit. Broken satellites, spent rocket parts, even fragments as small as paint chips, all circling the Earth at 17,000 miles an hour. When those pieces fall out of orbit, they don't drift down gently. They come in hot, they tear apart, and sometimes they land in the most unlikely places. Which brings us back to the blackened object sitting in the dirt in Jordan's field. That's when his wife pulled out her phone.
My wife, Renee, she Googled the pictures of that space junk found, and to our amazement, it had the exact same sort of patterns. So it was then that we went and had a good look at our piece and sort of confirmed that it looked the same. So we made contact with Dr. Brad Tucker, the astrophysicist from Canberra, and he came out and checked it out and confirmed that it was the same sort of stuff.
Jordan was stunned. This would have never even occurred to him.
You know, I'm probably more of an on-ground person, and it was the last thing on my mind, so it was completely surprising.
Most of the time, space junk burns up before it ever hits the Earth. But every once in a while, a piece makes it through. And Dr. Tucker, the astrophysicist from Canberra, told Jordan he was pretty sure he knew where this piece of space junk came from. That's next, after the break.
It is called Internet.
I use the World Wide Web information superhighway.
Cybersecurity. Why do things go viral?
Click here.
So Jordan Hobbs and his wife are standing in their field, staring at a charred piece of metal, and they think this must have fallen from space. They just don't know how or what it might be a piece of. So they reached out to an expert, Dr. Brad Tucker, and he was pretty sure he knew what it was from.
It came off a, this SpaceX One Dragon capsule that was re-entering Earth.
The SpaceX Dragon, Elon Musk's crew capsule, had launched and returned more than a year earlier.
Seconds away from splashdown, everything nominal aboard Crew Dragon Resilience returning to Earth.
Before re-entry, the crew jettisoned the part of the ship that carried solar panels and other equipment.
From Resilience, this excellent news. We are splashed down.
SpaceX copies and concurs. We do she main.
For 15 months, that trunk orbited quietly until gravity finally brought it down, right onto Jordan's property. And it turned him into a bit of a local celebrity.
To Tumbarumba and beyond, farmer and contractor Jordan Hobbs thought he'd stumbled across a bit of plastic earlier this month.
It wasn't my idea of going on the news. I'm a bit more of a quieter, humble person.
But that humble life didn't last. The mayor showed up to shake his hand. Reporters called. Trips to town turned into autograph sessions.
It's like a celebrity every time I went to town, so I tried to stay away from town for 6 months.
Then the Australian Space Agency called and asked him to preserve the area where he'd found it so they could come and investigate.
They harassed me on the phone but never showed up, and I thought, because you haven't played ball with us, well, I'm going to keep the piece. I don't know whether I should be saying this or not, but I actually still have the piece. I actually put the piece in an old suitcase and hid it out in the paddock.
The whole experience changed the way he moved through his land. It made him look up more, notice things that he'd never bothered to notice before.
One morning early, I was going out in the paddock and I looked up at the sky because it was so clear, so many stars. It was just a beautiful morning. And then I noticed like a bullet train of, it looked like stars, in a perfect line. I'd never seen anything like it. And I was like, what the hell is this?
So he rang up his new friend, the astrophysicist.
He's like, that's your Starlink, my friend.
Another Elon Musk product.
That's how I'm speaking to you today. We run through Starlink internet.
He pays for that connection, though part of him wonders whether he should. After all, when a piece of someone's spaceship lands in your yard, you'd think maybe they'd offer a little something, a refund, a thank you note, maybe even a discount.
I put a message out in an interview with the ABC, I think, for Elon to come and pick up his junk, but we're yet to see him.
Elon, if you're listening, Jordan Hobbs is waiting for your call. This is Click Here. Click Here is a production of Recorded Future News and PRX. Today's show was written and produced by Megan Dietrich, Sean Powers, Erica Gaida, Zach Hirsch, and Casey Georgie. It was edited by Karen Duffin and Sarah Quevedo, and fact-checked by Darren Ankrum. Original music is by Ben Livingston, with additional music from Blue Dot Sessions. Our staff writer is Lucas Riley, our illustrator is Megan Goff, and our sound designers and engineers are Jake Cook and Jesse Neiswanger. Find us on X or Facebook at Click Here Show. Or leave us a voice message at 661-5CH-TALK. Sometimes we'll turn those moments into reporting, sometimes into a conversation, and sometimes into a future story you'll hear on this show. I'm Dina Temple-Raston, and thanks for listening.